What's up, Niner Gang? We're back here on Niner Gang Wolfcast, back from a little break with my awesome co-hosts, Brian Culp and David McNiner, who will soon have their own shows as well. So get familiar with their faces, man, if you haven't already. If you're here, I really appreciate you. Please like and subscribe. There's a plethora, definitely a plethora of 49ers YouTube content creators live right now. So understandable if you guys don't catch me live. If you guys catch me post live, that's really awesome too. Make sure you watch all the way through, like and subscribe, share the video, all that type of stuff, guys. I would really appreciate it, man. And we're here on what I would like to call the not so Super Bowl week, the not so Super Bowl week. And it hurts, man. You guys can talk crap about me. I'm sure I'm gonna accept it. You guys can talk crap about me. Anybody who's an opposing fan, or even if you're a 49er fan, want to call me a crybaby, I'm still bitter. I'm gonna be bitter for many, many years to come, I'm sure. So it is what it is, man. I'm gonna own it. It is. Brian, let's start with you, and let's go from left to right, guys. If that's cool with you guys, if you guys have any thoughts to start the show on this not so Super Bowl week.
I'm bitter. I'm very bitter too. I was very excited, looking forward to us. We had a really good run, but that one thing that started looking better and better as each game went on was the one thing that we needed the most. That was quarterback. Our quarterback went down, and yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo is still there, and there was a possibility he could play maybe the originally it was the second playoff game. Then they went to the NFC Championship game, and then there was still a chance maybe he'd be suited up for the Super Bowl. Regardless if he was suited up or not, the Eagles, hey, hats off to you guys. You really hit our line really hard, and I think they really exposed gaps in our line. And I hope the Chiefs win. I'm not happy saying it, but go Chiefs.
Yeah, I know there's some Eagles fans that sub to my channel because they keep tuning in so they could talk shit. So they're not going to like that one.
But no, the Eagles are
David,
definitely a good team. Definitely a good team, but I'd like to play them again with the quarterbacks.
yeah, straight
And
up.
we will get our chance in Philadelphia next season.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, but we won't be playing the same team though, because 3 of their starting 4 defensive linemen are free agents.
Yeah, we won't be the same, and they won't be the same.
That
We got a lot of guys
I mean,
leaving,
a
too.
lot of their core pieces, man, are free agents. They're not going to be this is their chance. But so here we go. Second drive, Brock Purdy gets hurt. Hassan Reddick goes for the ball and ends up, yanking his arm back, and that was it. It was game over, man. There was nothing we could do about it. Josh Johnson, he's been on 14 teams for a reason. Maybe we should have went a different route at QB there. Maybe we should have signed a guy like I think Matt Moore was a free agent. There was a couple quarterbacks that I was thinking, this guy could be okay with all these pieces they have around him. But either way, they signed Josh Johnson because they were familiar with him.
Yeah.
And he didn't look like he was ready to play,
Yeah.
And he also looked distracted too, like that fumble snap where he's looking at the defensive line, not the ball. Come on, man. For one thing at a time. But there's nothing. We got beat, but they did not beat our best team. They cannot say they beat the 49ers at their best. They can't say that.
Yeah, definitely. I want to get your guys' thoughts on something that you brought up real quick with the Josh Johnson thing, man. I had an Eagles fan come at me in the comments, basically attacking as usual, saying that we're a bunch of crybabies and the Eagles out-physicaled us. They took out 2 of our quarterbacks. In my eyes, from what I saw on the field, and, this could definitely be argued, and you can show the medical report or whatever you want to, but the way I saw it in that game, as soon as Josh Johnson fumbled that snap, he was just done, man. He was out, and it seemed like that hit that he took that supposedly got him concussed, that did not look like something that would get somebody concussed. I think more than anything, his pride was hurt, and he just wanted to go out, take himself out of the game before his stock dropped down even further, man. So that's the way I saw it. It was his ego that took the hit, and he just kind of wanted to go ride the bench.
Yep.
Do you guys see it that way, or?
So
It could be the case.
Yeah, I definitely
Right.
thought that too. I had made the thoughts that possibly when he got hit initially, that wasn't as big of an injury as it was made out to be. But
Yeah.
I did see his head, the back of his head smack the turf twice. So I mean, like he could have got a concussion, but he wanted out of that game. When he didn't jump on the football after the fumble, he was out. He wanted out of that game. So when you're the quarterback, right? You know, and you're calling out the play in the huddle, and then you run up and you screen out the cadence. You're the guy who's calling out hut, you know, or when the snaps happen. So at that moment, did he have like a mental error? You know, instead of going on two, he called out two and was thinking, oh, it's going to be three, and then reacted late because nobody jumped off sides. He called hut twice or whatever. He called the cadence right, and he didn't count for the ball to be fumbled. You know, it was like, whoa, you know, so I don't think he was ready to play the game. And it's really upsetting because we could have had other quarterbacks. They could have went for Cam Newton. They could have went for other quarterbacks, like you said, you know, more. Or just other quarterbacks that was like maybe just mentally better prepared. I know the guy's been in the league for like 10 years, 13 different teams, 14 years, you know, I don't know, three different times with the Niners. But he wasn't ready to play. And if you're not ready to play, you shouldn't be suiting up. You really shouldn't. I
Yeah.
don't see like a second string guy, you know, like if you're a defensive player, you got to be able to go in at any time. Same thing with the quarterback. The quarterback has to be ready. And you're the second most valuable person on the team in hindsight. You know, like he's the starter, I'm the next guy. I'm the next guy. So, you know, like and you have to have that dog mentality. So no, I don't think he was ready to go. I think he checked himself out. I definitely
There
do.
you go. That's better wording for it. That's what I meant. I'm always at a loss for words, but you said it, Brian. He checked himself out. That's the way I saw it. I think it was a complete cop out, and he just checked out. But David, do you have any thoughts on that?
I think I think him, you know, being the vet that he is, and actually he had a couple good like 300-yard passing games last season for two different teams, but it was also
Oh
garbage
wow.
time.
Uh-huh.
Well, it was garbage time. They were
Yeah.
getting spanked.
Yeah.
So when it comes down to it, I'm not sure. I mean, he might have said, you know what, I'm I'm getting my ass kicked. I'm out. He really might have done that,
Yeah.
you know.
And
And at this point, we don't need to bring in a vet like that, you know. I would
yeah.
like to see. I mean, you know, our cap space, we do have a little bit of cap space, but we're still limited on what we can do.
Yeah.
You know,
Very.
we can't sign any superstars. But I would love to bring in an old guy like Andy Dalton. I would
Yeah.
love to bring in a guy like that. The main reason why is, you know, Trey Lance and Brock Purdy are young guys. An old, experienced quarterback is definitely going to help them. Although, if you think about it, that's what we have at quarterback coach right now.
Yeah. And
Ryan
Dalton's really
Greasy.
good, man. When it comes to fundamentals, Andy Dalton's a really good true quarterback with a little bit of mobility, man. So that veteran savvy, I would like that, man. That's a good one. I don't know what his contract looks like.
I think well, he's a free agent right now, but I think he made like 10 million last season, something like that. A guy like that's going to fetch like $6 to $8 million though, no matter what.
At least, yeah. Well, they got the
Yeah,
veteran
I mean,
minimums and all that stuff, so he has to get at least the veteran minimum, which I'm not sure. I think that's like 20 mil right now. Derek Carr, because speaking of Andy Dalton, the Saints requested permission to to bring Derek Carr in from the Raiders for a team visit. The Raiders granted permission for the Saints to have that team visit with Derek Carr. So Derek Carr is going to be heading over there and seeing if he's going to be a future Saint. Speaking of Andy Dalton, man. So looks like that's up for grabs, and Andy Dalton's on his way out. So when it comes to Josh Johnson, real quick, I wanted to point something out, guys. This is kind of reminiscent of like when Brock Purdy first came in the Chiefs game, and him and JP Mason had that miscue on the handoff.
Yeah.
That's kind of, and this is why I know you guys remember I was kind of banging the desk. I was banging the desk. I was like, Josh Johnson, I want to see what he's got. We got to get this dude some reps. It's really going to be important because we don't know when we're going to get Jimmy Garoppolo back. The 49ers didn't handle business in the Raiders game the way they should have, where we could have gotten Josh Johnson reps at the end of the game. Same thing in the Cardinals game. They waited too long, and then they didn't let him go until like the very, very end of it. I thought that was a very vital game to get Josh Johnson some reps. Still a regular season game with no must-win implications. Even the Seahawks game, man, blowing out the Seahawks towards the end.
Yeah.
But so I think that would have bode well for the NFC Championship. You know, of course, if you would have changed the way things align, it would have changed the whole outcome of the NFC Championship. But it is what it is, man. If you guys have any thoughts on that, go ahead. If not, I'm going to shout out the comments real quick.
Yeah, I think Josh Johnson, he's a serviceable quarterback, in certain situations. I don't think he was ready to be the game starter, in that championship game. He should have been. Shame on him. Most definitely shame on him. I think the only reason he came in is because he is familiar somewhat with the offense and maybe with some of the players.
Yeah.
Maybe with the verbiage. I can read Kyle's, scribbles, I can read his play calls, right?
Yeah.
But I don't see him going to another team next year. I think that's his last game. I mean, where do you go from there?
It sucks too, man, because up until that fumbled snap, he was actually not doing too bad. He looked definitely like he had those jitters. Yeah. Something. Yeah. He's throwing check downs at people's feet and stuff like that. So, but he was still making hard. Yeah, he was making it very hard, but at the same time, he was making some decent completions to get us some first downs. So he wasn't looking too bad. We still had a shot. Then you fumble that snap, and that's just like the nail in the coffin right there, man. As if we didn't have enough nails in that damn coffin. David, you got any thoughts on any of that?
I think, I said it earlier. The nail in the coffin came when Brock Purdy got hurt. That was it.
Yeah.
That was the second drive. And, I mean, maybe what placed the nail and didn't drive it was Kyle Shanahan not throwing that flag, not throwing the challenge flag.
Oh, my God.
And he's like, well, we were trying to get a definition, so a view that definitely saw it. It's like they're purposely not showing you that, dude. You're in Philadelphia. Come on.
The NFC Championship, man. You got to do that.
But at that point, I'm still on the this is what train I'm on. 2 + 2 = 4. The receiver that just caught that iffy ball is calling everybody to the line of scrimmage, Kyle. Why is he calling everybody to the line of scrimmage, Kyle? 2 + 2 = 4. You're a smart guy. Throw the flag.
Allegedly.
Call a timeout. Slow the team down.
Yeah.
They're trying to strike quick, Hufungus jumping up on the sidelines, trust your team. Trust your team, but he didn't.
You're saying call a timeout. He throws that flag even if he's wrong. It's a timeout.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I mean? So either way, throw the flag.
So, you throw the timeout, right? Then maybe that other view gets seen in New York. Or maybe, on TV, and then they decide that, hey, that's not a catch and we don't have to use a challenge. or maybe that just slows down the team's momentum, and the Niners can take a breath for a second and then readjust and maybe get an interception or something like that, and then
or hold them to 3. But
yeah,
dude, that was a fourth down play.
Yeah.
If they would have called that properly, it would have been our ball. Talk about a momentum swing.
Boom.
Well, I think there's two. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, it happened with the game, and I want to get clarification with you guys. We kicked them the ball, right? Up to that fourth down play. We would have got the ball. And then, that happened. They scored the touchdown. Then we got the ball. We started moving the ball a little bit. And I think it was Purdy's third throw. That's when he got hurt. That was our first drive. That was
he was actually
he was 4 of 4.
He was 4 of 4, but he threw one pass with his messed up elbow.
Yeah.
We were doing it, and then we just whatever, you got too cute or whatever. I've heard a lot of people say that was the wrong scheme, or they weren't even. I don't know. It is what it is. So.
Well, and you don't. When it comes down to the personnel, why didn't you put Kittle on that side?
Yeah.
Reddick ain't running through Kittle. No way. He ran right through Croft. McGlinchey slid inside to help Burford, and I don't know if Burford even needed help. I didn't see that. All I saw was Reddick hitting Purdy. And I was incredibly disappointed in what happened there. But
yeah. Definitely.
And that brings up another thing. So the meeting on the surgery was today. I haven't seen any news about what was decided. And there's 2 directions they can go. They can go the repair, which is reattaching the ligament to the ligament. Or if they go with Tommy Johns, you actually cut small sections out of each side of it. Take a section of ligament from another body part, you install it in that area, but then it's like your body has to learn to recommunicate through the ligament because that piece of ligament isn't supposed to be there. So that's what takes 9 to 12 months to come back from Tommy John surgery. But normally when they're doing Tommy John's, it's on a pitcher, and that it's completely blown out and shredded. Versus he has a clean tear. So Brock Purdy has a clean tear. It's not shredded. You don't need to do Tommy John's. You can get away with just repairing it.
Yeah.
And the repair is 6 months. He'll be back for training camp.
Yeah.
If they go Tommy John's, he could be back mid-season to late season, but I would just keep him out the whole year. That's just me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what I would like to say too. Really quickly, Wolf. Regardless of really the surgery or the injury is the injury, I would like to see the guy get the year off to let his elbow heal up. Let him maybe be backup quarterback or third stringer or something. Gradually take over the squad team or something like that. But let him heal up. Don't let him heal up. Don't push him. And Trey Lance, bring in 2 more guys to compete with Trey Lance. Let Trey Lance, give him the ability to make a good running start at this offense. But we need to bring in 2 other. I'm
going to stop you guys before we get too ahead, because all those topics you guys are getting on, they're later on in the show. Right. I have them in a specific order.
Okay.
No, that because it's all going to align. You guys will see.
All right.
But I want to touch on something real quick. Going back to what we're talking about real quick. We talked about it. We're still bitter as 49er fans. We're going to get past this. So I want to knock it out real quick. We got some of it out the way. For me, I started thinking about this the other day, man. And there's a lot of stuff, especially with the Arian Foster stuff coming out. I don't know if you guys saw the video of Arian Foster on his podcast, talking about how the NFL is rigged. It was a sarcastic tone when you go back and watch it. Of course, if you just take it, the text out of it, it's going to look like he's legitimately saying it's rigged. But not only that, everybody's been saying before, even what's his name that has a podcast, former special teamer, punter, what's his damn name?
The
Matt,
guy from the Colts, Pat
Pat
McAfee.
McAfee.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Pat McAfee.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he was even talking about it before the Arian Foster stuff came out. He's like, dude, this shit is getting completely fucking ridiculous. Like, you have the Niners game, the way that played out with the replay and everything. Then you go to all the stuff in the AFC Championship, and the Chiefs get another third down and all this just weird shit that's going on. And it makes it look like the NFL is rigged, even if it's not. And it's like, for me, I was like, man, if I had a lot of money riding on this, I would be suing the NFL right now, because it's not a legitimate bet. Like, I'm not placing my money on a legitimate wager if you're able to just leave everything up to chance. Shit has to be regulated, in my opinion. Like, these reviews need to happen no matter what, so we can have the definitive outcome of a game, in my opinion. So, like, that review where they're rushing back to the line as the Eagles, the refs need to stop that and step in. I think maybe we should even do away with challenge flags. Like, the officials should just be reviewing anything that's reviewable, in my opinion. I've felt like that for a long time. I'm saying it now because it's super relevant. But what do you guys think about that?
Well, you definitely have to let people play. And if you've played football, and David, that you can call holding on every play. On every play, holding can be called.
Yeah.
So at a certain position, and that goes with the corners, and that goes with the wide receivers, because it goes both ways. So, and the chip blocks, all that kind of stuff. So there's certain things that you have to let them play. But when it is a big play like that, the college, don't they stop it? Don't they review it? So, I mean, if it works out for college, I don't see why they can't do it for the NFL.
Thank you.
I mean, we've won on this, both sides. We've won and lost. This time we lost, but if you give me that play and the Niners get the ball on the 30 or the 40-yard line, I guarantee you Robbie Gould's he's at least going to get us 3 points. At least 3 points. And from that point on, the Eagles crowd is going to be stunned. And the Eagles aren't going to be just trying to go for it, because they were going to get, if we would have scored a touchdown on them, it would have been over. The Eagles aren't going to do that again. They're going to be like, oh, but they tried to get us real quick, and then the wide receiver jumped up, did a signal, and they ran down there real fast, and that's when we should have been like, we should have had somebody on the sideline who wasn't putting their nose in a play sheet and who's watching and thinking, hey, what's my team doing? What's my team? What are they telling me right now? They're telling me to stop the game. They're telling me to challenge. You can't take challenges with you. You can't use them for the next game. If you don't use them, you lose them. So I don't know.
You can't.
I want to clarify
to the second half either.
Exactly.
That's all it would have cost us, is a challenge and a timeout.
Yeah, which we need regardless, because the defense was working really hard. I want to clear something up, because you said, you could call holding on every single play. So I'm talking about ball placement implications. So I think that's something that the refs always have to make sure is on point. Was it a catch? Make sure of that. We're not talking. I wouldn't include the penalties in that so much, unless it's like pass interference. Maybe then.
Or roughing the passer, because I think that should be a reviewable play too. Teams should be able. And I think when, like helmet to helmet contact, or when a quarterback's running and they go to slide, I think that should be a reviewable play. Because, hey, I didn't hit you. I hit you with my shoulder pad, or they really need to make it clear, just as soon as the quarterback drops down, that's where he's at, not where he stops sliding at,
I don't like the discrimination. You can challenge this. You can't review this. You can't challenge this. You can review this. Like, I don't understand that. Anything should be reviewable.
Yeah. And you remember the season before last, they were actually letting, or what was it, 2020, when they were letting coaches throw flags to challenge pass interference on plays.
Oh, wow.
I mean, the NFL put the kibosh on that pretty quick, because you can call pass interference on a lot of plays.
That's
And
what I'm saying.
It was making that
Yeah.
3-hour game into a 3.5 hour, 3 hour and 45-minute affair.
Yeah.
So they were like, no, we can't do that.
Yeah, true. So I think when it comes to catches, ball placement type of stuff, but as far as penalties, maybe not so much. But even then, we had some horrible penalties called against us, man. So it's really tough to say. Like, at what point does it have to balance out? And you got to find that fine line, man, because we're not there yet. I know that for damn sure. I think the scales are tipped in a very unfavorable fashion for not just the 49ers, but teams in general. It seems like we have these bullshit outcomes every year, not just with the 49ers, all around the league. It's always a different team. So
Real quick, delay of game should be reviewable too.
That too,
on both sides of the field, because you should be like, hey, it's been like 3 seconds. They should have, or hey, you guys threw the flag and I was right there at 1 second or whatever. The play clock should be reviewable.
I would like to see the first time that flag is thrown out. That'd be funny. The challenge flag. That'd be funny, man. That'd be cool.
Yeah, we lost to the Seahawks over that game. The NFC Championship game, like 2013 game. We lost.
Fuckers. Let's get through some of the comments real quick. Big Mac Sports, man. Big surprise. Saw you on Raj's show today, man. I love when I don't see any announcements. I tune into Raj's show and I see Big Mac Sports on there, man. That was really cool, man. Congrats, bro. Good to see you getting out there, man. And thanks for tuning in.
Definitely a good show.
Yeah. Guayaba says, what I miss. There's too much now, man. We kind of just took the NFC Championship in a nutshell real quick. But rewind at some point. Check it out again. Jim Everett the Great. Hey, guys, real quick. Like, I have it scrolling across the bottom of the screen right now. If you guys have any specific comments or questions for us, put 4 flames to get your comment read. That way we could get to it quicker. It helps us sift through everything. Vader says, love the new defensive coordinator pickup. Yeah, hold on with us. We're going to get to that in a sec. Let me check the comments, double check everything real quick. All right, we're good, guys. So some notable retirements this week, guys. Want to get your guys' thoughts on that. Tom Brady is probably number one. Whether he would come to the 49ers this year, make one last push for a Super Bowl with his dream team, the team he grew up rooting for, and the team that inspired him to do what he does. Now, he went and announced his retirement, kind of caught the league by storm and maybe a little off foot, but what do you guys think about it, man?
I'll believe it after next season's ended and he wasn't on a team. But at this point, I don't believe anything that guy says. What happened? Like if something really bad happened, like horrific, and we're in need of a quarterback, if that guy's healthy, it might just take calling him, or what happens to another team, like there's been the Miami speculation, New England speculation, and going to the Raiders. So it just depends on the situation, I think, at the time. So I won't count anything out with Tom Brady.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I want him on our team. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys. I know you're kind of young there, Wolf, but do you guys remember the Brett Favre retirement saga?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I remember
every year. Brett Favre's retiring, always coming out of retirement. That's actually what got me to cut off of the ESPN and start calling them the what was it? Egghead Speculation Posers Network is what I called ESPN at that point. Because I was watching the MLB show, and here they are going, "Oh, Brett Favre's coming out of retirement." I was like, "This is the MLB show. Will you guys shut up about that already?" You couldn't get through anything without them talking about it. It was ridiculous. So at that point, I actually haven't even had ESPN available on my TV since probably 2007.
Yeah, he went from the Packers to the Jets. Then he had some weird bar incident in the New York. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, Look it up. There was some weird film photography in a bar. I'll tell you guys on the side if you don't know what I'm talking about. But
Don't forget the
Yeah,
Vikings.
he
yeah.
did really good with the Jets. He almost got to the playoffs. We played him, and if I think we beat him, and he injured his shoulder or something like that. But he did good, and then he retired, and then he went to the Vikings, and I think the Vikings
Stop.
coach did the coach bring a helicopter down, like on his farm or something like that on his ranch. You imagine the Niners flying in Jed York with a helicopter to go get Tom Brady and bringing it down.
Well, that's
Hey
why I
man,
remember it.
that's like an absolute worst case scenario. You know what I mean?
That's why I
Yeah,
But
remember it so well, man,
look, man,
because the
think about
Vikings, that miraculous bullshit throw he made at the end versus the 49ers in the back of the end zone, that shit pissed me off so bad. Oh my
yeah,
God.
yeah. He got really lucky. We were up and coming that year. We were just oh man, what a great game. That was a great game. We almost won that game. We should have won that game. Miracle Favre.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was
but
ridiculous, man.
well, so you know, here we are talking about Brett Favre somehow and Tom Brady. But so Tom Brady, dude, he's retiring. You know, he doesn't want to lose his. I wouldn't say a trophy wife because I think he's the trophy husband here. And but it's time for him to go. You know, be Mr. Mom, stay at home with the kids. I mean, that lady makes like $48 million a year. So it comes a certain point in time where it's like you beat yourself up for 20 something years, Tom. Go be
Yeah.
a family man. You know, you've made your money. What else do you have to prove? 7 Super Bowl wins, 2 teams. What else do you have to prove? You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's what he said to himself this year after getting beat up during those games because of how bad their offensive line was. You know, he's like, yeah, I'm good.
If I'm Tom
46
Brady,
years old. You know, it comes a certain point in time where those hits are going to be like you're going to wake up Monday morning going, "Why did I do that?" And you're going to head straight to the bathtub filled with ice water. You know.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, if I'm Tom Brady, man, knowing competitive spirit, I'm like, I'm retiring. I need to spend time with my family. Oh, what? The 49ers might need a quarterback because they go through 3 or 4 a year? I'd rather play one more year and not regret it for the rest of my life. So I know if I'm him, that's what I'm thinking. But I'm not him, so I don't know what he's thinking.
Well,
Jim,
okay, with that mentality though, right? You
mhm.
know, our option like this year was Josh Johnson, and that wasn't our only option. We could have called like Philip Rivers. We could have called Drew Brees. We could have called Cam Newton. There were people we could have like said, "Hey, man, you guys are retired, but like, can you sign for a couple of games? We just need you. We need you to be ready, right?"
Yeah,
Tom Brady could be that guy. But
yeah,
yeah, he did. He signed his deal with Fox. So I think
yeah,
that starts not this season. I think it starts next season.
yeah. That's the thing. So
Well,
he's not gonna.
either way, if he signed on with Fox, he's done.
Yeah.
You know,
Speaking of that, man, I'm pretty sure you guys remember I mentioned the NFL is supposed to be on NFL football is supposed to be streaming through YouTube TV this year, man. So I'm really pumped up for that. I think streaming is going to be more reliable for me and really easy
does that? Yeah. Well, for a guy that has YouTube Premium, does that mean he can actually watch his 49ers
through
and
YouTube.
not see the Broncos that were garbage this year every
Yeah,
single week?
Oh, that'd be nice.
Oh, that was
I
so. That
believe
was it's
so.
torture. It's
It's
torture.
supposed to be NFL Sunday Ticket because I know with YouTube TV, uh, it checks your location, so it would have the typical local streams or games on. But now that NFL Sunday Ticket is moving to YouTube TV, it's going to be all the games, and you can watch multiple games at once, as well as pull up the stats on screen while you're watching the game. So it's all really cool stuff, man. I'm pumped up for it. Now I don't know how the pricing is going to work, so I'm curious on that, but I don't think it's going to be a whole lot. Maybe it just comes with the package of YouTube TV, which is like $60 a month, $80 a month, depending which one you get.
Ooh, 10 year, $375 million deal. Dang, son.
Damn,
Dang.
son. David Villa, what's up, man? Says, what up, faithfuls?
Hold on. It's David Villa. It's Villa. It's a Spanish pronunciation. Yes, Villa.
Says, what up, faithfuls, and my amigos, Wolf, McNiner, Culp. You guys are the best. Hey, likewise, man. Appreciate you being here as always, man. Thanks for tapping in. Says, Brady still want to play for the best team in the world. I'm telling you, man. If I were him, that's my mentality. You know, now probably more than ever, the 49ers need another quarterback waiting in the wings, man, because we'll get into that later. We'll get into the Brock Purdy stuff later, but another notable retirement this week, guys, was A.J. Green. And why do I bring up A.J. Green? Divisional opponent. Wide receiver for the Cardinals. Really good wide receiver, man. And first play of the game in this last regular season game against the Cardinals, he exposed our secondary and went and caught a beautiful catch trick play in double coverage. So he won't be posing any more threats for the 49ers. So that's why I bring that up, guys. You guys got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, good. Yeah, good. I think the Cardinals are gonna have a really hard time this year. They got rid of their coach, Kyler Murray. They still got him. Oh God. So any other JJ Watt left the Cardinals. So yep, good.
The Cardinals, 0 Super Bowls, 4-13, and Sean Payton said nope. D'Amico Ryan said nah. And the top 2 coaching candidates, they both said no, thanks. We want nothing to do with that.
Nobody.
And
does,
now I just heard that Brian Flores is even saying, I'm good.
Yeah, he's already with the Vikings.
Dude, what is up with that? Why doesn't when they're not injured, they actually have a pretty good team.
Yeah.
So what is with the Red Chickens? Why doesn't anyone want to be the Red Chickens head coach?
I think it starts at ownership.
Marks.
I think it starts at ownership, works its way down. Like when you go and fire Wilks, and get rid of Josh Rosen and just keep rebuilding, and they keep rebuilding like every year. Or every 3 years they're rebuilding. It's not gonna happen. So they got close with Kurt Warner. Kurt Warner got him to a Super Bowl, but he didn't get it done.
Yeah.
So
straight up, I feel that, man.
You imagine if the Niners,
you guys are right.
You imagine if the Niners would have got Kurt Warner somewhere after his Rams situation, because he went to the Giants. Oh my gosh, man, the Niners just needed somebody just to stand back there and throw the ball for. We didn't have that for a long time.
What year was that? Like 2005?
When he went to the Giants, I think so.
No, Kurt Warner when he when he went to the Cardinals. The Super Bowl.
Yeah, 2000.
I think it was around 2005. It was when we were, trash.
So that would have been
6, maybe. Yeah.
That would have been what, Tim Rattay era?
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. Yeah, so woo, we could have used us some Kurt Warner, I think, man. That would have.
Hey, man, cool. You bring up Tim Rattay. Did you ever read that article where Bill Belichick was in the draft room before he took Tom Brady, and he was going back and forth between Tim Rattay and Tom Brady?
Oh,
you guys never read that article?
No, man.
No, I'm gonna look for it now.
First time hearing of it.
Yeah. Bill Belichick was like, Tim Rattay or Tom Brady?
Let me really ponder this through the whole draft process.
Really, it's actually true too, but that's insane. But Tim Rattay, to be honest, he didn't have anything around him. The poor guy. At that point, we were bottom feeders. We had nothing. We had the Yorks. Ooh, we're going to run
Well,
this team like we know how. You don't know shit about football at that point. You know
well,
nothing.
if you look at it, that's our problem right there. Our quarterback got hurt. And then we had to draft a new one. We drafted a new one, and he wasn't the right guy. Our problem is our O line. It's been our O line since Steve Young got hurt. Steve Young was mobile, and he helped that O line, but then they started putting in rookies, and I don't know the rookie's name, but he was the one that let Aeneas Williams through, and he got the sack on Steve Young, give him the concussion. So if we can, we just need to develop a line. We develop our O line, become like the Cowboys a little bit. Get some big guys right there. Stop worrying about like being finesse. Let's just get let's get some big boys in there that can save our quarterback.
History's repeating itself, man. Go ahead, David.
That's
my bad.
Center is so big in Kyle Shanahan's offense, and we had a career backup starting. That's what Brendel is. He's a career backup. He's a journeyman. And there are a couple options that are really good and might not be expensive. I mean, we might only have them for a year though, so it would be time to draft a center and groom them.
Yeah,
but a guy like Bradley Bozeman, I've watched tape on the guy. I've actually done my research on this dude. And he played in Baltimore, run-heavy offense. We are a run-heavy offense. He did pretty good in their pass protection, too. But he's a 4-year starter up there. Then he went to Carolina, and I think they drafted someone high. And he got injured. So then all of a sudden he was riding the pine. So we could really get this guy for pretty cheap, $4 to $5 million for a season. And we would have a good quality starting center. When it comes to right tackle, that's a different story. That's something I'm worried about.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm really curious how this staff is really going to attack free agency and the O-line, man. Are they going to continue to budget when it comes to the O-line, or are they finally going to invest throughout the whole O-line and not just left tackle? What do you guys think they're going to do with that?
They're going to budget.
You know what? Budget. Hey, man, Colton Mikovits actually pretty good at left tackle when Trent Williams was out. Mikovits? Yeah. I always I hacked that guy's name.
It's a lot of letters.
I know David Villa's name, but I hacked that guy's name up every time, I swear.
It's a lot of letters. It's a lot of letters, man.
Yeah.
I don't blame you.
But
some of these names.
We also have Zakel on the bench, and we never even saw what he could do.
Larry Kruger says,
we have options. We have internal options if we can't find anything external.
Yeah.
John Jay mentioned I got to watch out for golf carts. So shout out to TRL and get out the way, man. Just for you, buddy, if you're watching. It's an inside joke.
What was I going to say? Okay, well, getting us into some even more positive retirement news, guys, which I should say is more on the contrary, I guess I should say, is Trent Williams, man, came out and said to Grant Gordon, and in the article, Grant Gordon interviewed him in the Pro Bowl over the weekend. So comes out with the article. It says that Trent Williams clarified the retirement situation, that he is not contemplating retirement. He will be back for this season, man. So that's exciting for 49ers fans, man. I'm really happy to hear that. Do you guys have any thoughts on that? And like me, I'm just happy. I'm glad to have him. Not glad to have his cap hit, but I'll take it. Maybe we could restructure that just a little bit. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, most definitely. Sometimes you want the best, you got to pay for the best. And sometimes the best costs a little bit more money. But sometimes, when the best knows it's the best and it wants to stay the best, sometimes the best takes a little bit of a discount, to keep everything else around him, the best. So yeah, he came out. He was frustrated at first, and he was, devastated. I would imagine from the game, and for reporters to ask him questions. I felt he came off a little sarcastic, like, yeah, I don't know what I'm going to be doing. No, dude, you already know you're coming back next year. You're getting paid. You just don't want to answer any questions right now. And I totally feel you. I
Mm.
totally feel you. But yeah, him coming back is a good thing for our left side. But we definitely need to start. We need to start getting people behind him. And like you were saying, David, we got all these players that can go to different positions, and they're like utility knives, and but they're not like a starter or a solidified at one position. They're like jacks of all trades, and that's great. But we need somebody that just does electrical or just does plumbing. Like we need somebody who's just the center.
Instead
So
of a
that's
jack of all trades and a master of none, you want a master of one.
I do. Like look at left tackle. Look at the silverback. He don't go to the right side. He don't go and play center. He's
Yeah,
he's the best. He's the best left tackle for a reason.
yeah.
But I like the ability, because like when you are trying to build your roster, you have to have players that can jump around and fill in gaps. So I like those guys, but I think we can get better. I think we can get better.
We need to. David,
Yo,
thoughts on Trent Williams not retiring, coming out and saying it?
it's only costing us $30 million. I mean,
Yeah, it's only 30 million.
but at the same time, I'm looking at it like we get him for one more year. He did all us a favor and stopped the speculation because the reporters run rampant on his 49er empire. They just do. They love it. But and I'm talking the reporters and speculation. They love it. But I think he knows he's on a good team, and he's like, I'm not leaving this team. Look at what we've done
Special.
since I've been. No, he's like,
Yeah.
no. He's probably got a good 2-3 years left in him. And even a declining Trent Williams is better than 99% of the tackles in the league. Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
And I wish we could clone him, put one on the right side too. That'd be
Yeah. Get another five clones to go with that.
Oh man, Trent
Yeah.
Williams all the way across the line. Teams would be scared. They'd be lining their defensive linemen up 3 yards off the ball just to try to get
I
some
don't
space.
know. I mean, like let's not go too far. Like if they look at how he stands at the line, they'll know if it's a pass or a run. So if it's all Trent Williams on the line, defenses will just step back for a second and be like, "Oh, they're going to run the ball here." They're not
You
going to be
did
afraid.
see. So I don't follow Ocho because I look at him like, come on, man, you do all kinds of troll reports, But
Yeah.
he made a good statement about this. And he said everything a defender basically it boils down to everything a defender has to account for. The last thing they're going to look at is what Trent Williams is doing. How's he standing? None of them are going to be looking at that. They're going to be looking at too many other things before the snap, So if you're a defender and you're able to catch that, more power to you. You should be playing on the 49ers.
Yeah.
Yep. What was I going to say? David Villa says, you guys watching 80 for Brady? What's that? Am I tripping? What is that?
It's like the last dance for Brady. It's like a documentary.
Sense.
It's like a documentary for Brady.
You gonna watch it, David?
No.
Probably not.
Probably not. Yeah.
Probably not. If he was a 49er, he's not.
Exactly. I haven't even gotten a chance to watch the Joe Montana one because it's on Peacock or something. I don't know who the hell has Peacock. Have you guys gotten to watch that? The Joe Montana one that came out like this past year?
I think I just seen it. It was either on Peacock or the other streaming service, but I ordered it and it's cool. I like it. But it's a lot of stuff that you kind of already heard. But
Right. I mean, I would love to see it. I ain't got Peacock. And I don't think I'm gonna get it just for that unless I can rent it for like $5 or something, then I will.
Well,
But
I got like Disney, right? Disney Plus and the Hulu and the ESPN. I don't hardly ever use the ESPN. It doesn't get me ESPN. It's like ESPN
doesn't
two or something. Yeah, like
doesn't do anything.
no,
This is
doesn't
what
do
I'm
anything.
saying, man. When my eyes open to this whole YouTube stuff, like the content creators for the 49ers, it was such a blessing, honestly. Helped my fandom out so much because I always craved for more and more 49ers, and YouTube now I get just a river of 49ers knowledge and content all day, every day, man. So it's awesome. Um, we got CG in the house. What's up, CG? Thanks for being here, bro. Appreciate you, man. And Raccoon back at you. Um, yeah. CG says we'll need to upgrade at right tackle. McGlinchey got to go. Got to go. He's probably going to outprice himself, man. In all honesty, I don't know if the 49ers can afford him. The salary cap is going up 16 million, which is not as much as I thought it was projected to go up. They were making it sound like it was going to be this huge jump, and 16 mil was pretty lackluster, I think, honestly, going up to 224.8 million this year. And as it stands right now, it sounds like the 49ers only have 8.1 million in cap space, and I doubt they're going to use that on McGlinchey, but I can also see it happening.
I don't think I'll ever get that like shot. You know, the last playoff game, the Cowboys versus us with Mike McParsons. You know, going. I
Micah
like
Parsons, yeah.
yeah, that like that's what bad leverage or what. But he just threw a Glinchy down on the ground, and like
Like
at
Trent.
that point, yeah, yeah. Like at that point, it's like, what is he underweight? You know, just a tall guy. You know, I know he came in underweight. You know, and he came
Yeah.
in like, but like that's why you got. I'm like thinking, man, if we had a little short dude right now, I mean, like that dude would have got thrown down on the ground like that. You know, like he would have like he would be closer to the ground. You know, you can't just push him down. You know, like I don't know, but Mike,
Well, the thing about having a short guy at tackle though is their reach. You know, because a tackle has a lot of space to cover, and the wider their reach is, the
yeah,
better, the more they're going to cover. And if you put a short guy out there, he better be very athletic.
yeah, I hear you.
You know,
Like
I just
Jason
root for the
Poe.
short guys. I
Like,
I root for the short guys.
that was who came to mind after I said that. Go figure.
yeah, who would have thunk it? Yeah, man.
I'll be right back. I hear weird noises.
All right, we'll
Okay.
hold it
All right.
down.
Bust out the shotgun, man. Oh man, I really want to wait for this till he gets back, but
Yeah,
I guess me and you will talk about it in the meantime, man. I mean, first and foremost, the 49ers met with Vic Fangio. It didn't work out. Seems like the creative juices weren't flowing through one another the way they wanted to run things, you know. Vic Fangio runs a 3-4. I think the 49ers had other things in mind when it came to doing things schematically for this defense and not fixing something that's not broken. But we signed Steve Wilks today, man. Great big news. That's really awesome. And then not only that, D'Amico leaves. He's a head coach. And we get to keep Chris Kasarik. So we got Chris Kasarik staying, which is something everybody was scared about. Really great to hear that he's staying, man. But what are your thoughts on everything, Brian?
yeah. I think Wilks is going to be pretty cool. He beat us like twice at the Cardinals, you know, so he beat Shanahan, you know, so he should be able to, you know, maybe put some insight information on how he schemed up to beat the Cardinal, you know, his Cardinal team, right?
Yeah.
Um, so that's something good, you know, and he's had head coaching experience, you know, so it's another head coach in the room that can look at Kyle and say, hey, maybe we should, you know, like come together a little bit more because we all want to win a Super Bowl here. The Fangio thing, I was really hoping for Fangio, but it sounds like maybe there was some conversation that just maybe just didn't yeah,
Mesh.
supposedly Kyle's not just the OC and the head coach, he's a defensive coordinator too. So you know, hopefully D'Amico can go and have success because D'Amico it sounds like was just the rah-rah guy. and I don't think that's all true. I really don't. But supposedly, like D'Amico was positive, and Kyle, right? And bringing in Fangio, you'd have like another grumpy guy in the locker room. So, that was somebody I heard say that, and it's possible. But
Yeah.
Fangio, I think he was smart enough to be able to run a 3-4 or a 4-3. I think there was some personnel maybe that said that they might have said, "Hey, these are all our free agents. Who are you interested in retaining?" Maybe there was a couple people that they're like, "We really wanted that guy," you know. So let's see what happens. But with Wilks coming in, they get to keep the same scheme, and it sounds like he's going to fit in really nicely. But I definitely would like to see
Yeah.
somebody come in that has some backbone to challenge Kyle. I don't think Kyle should just be running rush out over everybody.
Yeah, one less thing to worry about as well, man. That was one of the things, man. I really what D'Amico Ryans did in the short span that he was defensive coordinator was really cool and everything. I think his rookiness kind of showed at times, like a lot, especially on third downs. He kind of that translated from Robert Saleh's system over to D'Amico Ryans. Now we get a clean slate, I think, with Steve Wilks. Now we'll see how much you say like Kyle Shanahan's foot being in the door, how much of that is going to play a factor in the play calling and the schematic stuff that happens on third and longs. So dude, I'm just really happy that we get some experience here, man. Not just as a defensive coordinator, but a head coach. Like you said, I think it was 2018 when he was coaching the Cardinals, if I'm correct. Let me see.
I think you're right. I
It's
think Rosen was the one who beat us too.
Yeah, it was 2018. Fucking Josh Rosen.
Yeah.
That guy. Who actually came and was a 49er for a little while. But yeah, man, I'm really pumped up. That's a guy we really wanted outside of Vic Fangio. We don't have to change too many things up, so that's great. David, we're talking about Fangio, having the meeting with him. Didn't seem to
Mm-hmm.
mesh well with the future outlook that this team had for the defense and the pieces they had here.
Yes.
As well as, we signed Steve Wilks, of course. D'Amico leaves. He's a head coach. We already talked about that. But Chris Kasarik, who D'Amico Ryans was going after, is pledging to stay with the 49ers, man. So that's really awesome. What's your take on all that stuff?
Chris Kasarik loves it here. Look at what he's working with. He's got Nick Bosa. He's got Eric Armstead. He actually said that Drake Jackson has all the tools, to be good.
Oh, yeah, he does.
And for some reason he wasn't active during the playoff games, which I'm still disappointed about. But I mean, Chris Kasarik loves being the D-line coach. He likes it in Frisco. I honestly am so glad he's staying with us. It's not funny.
Yeah.
This next year, look at who we have under contract right now. Joey, we have. I almost made a mistake. Nick Bosa.
How dare you?
I know. My bad. They're two totally different players too. Even though they're brothers, they're two totally different players.
Yeah.
But you got Nick Bosa, Drake Jackson, Javin Kinlaw, Eric Armstead, Calais Davis, and that's it. That's literally who we have under contract for next year. So we're going to be, signing a bunch of guys to 1-year contracts like we do every year, and seeing who gets cut, seeing who's willing to take a discount to come to Frisco. Which, considering what we've done 3 of the last 4 seasons, there should be a lot of players wanting to come here.
Yeah. From the 2016-17 rebuild, to now. I mean, like, the Niners are definitely relevant. Even in 2020, we were relevant. 2018, there was a vibe in 2018 that people were like, "Oh, they got something going on over there." We had a lot of good pieces right there starting out. So, we need that missing piece right now.
Yeah, man. I'm really happy Chris Kasarik is staying, man. Wilks is awesome. I was gonna say something else on that, but I forgot. But we already talked about Card of the Saints, man. But let me say what's up to these guys real quick. We got 49ers first takes and Mariah 49 faithfully in here. What's up, guys? Thanks for tapping in. Really appreciate you guys. Everybody go check them
That's
out. As well.
Aaron and Mariah. It's nice to see you guys.
I love this name.
I'll call the cops on myself.
Oh no. Oh yeah. Aaron brings up another really good thing about Steve Wilks, man. He's actually a former DB himself who became a DB coach, moved up to defensive coordinator and head coach as well, guys. So that's something that really bodes well for the secondary that's gone in question a couple times this year and a couple years in the past as well, in the most recent history. So I think he's going to really be able to help with that. And I hope we could get some more coverage sacks. Now, we still got to ramp things up on the D line, but on the secondary part of it, man, if they're doing their job on the back end, coverage sacks, help that D line get home.
Well, I like what you said. There's like two things you said right there. You said first off, from Sala to D'Amico, we had a hard time getting off on third down. So hopefully that changes with Wilks. Yeah. And then with the coverage sacks, hopefully that changes. But he blitzes a lot more. So hopefully that starts that there's a lot of good potential right there, Wolf.
Oh yeah.
Hey, so Steve Wilks went 6-6 with the Panthers. Well, one of the worst teams in the NFL, and I mean they do have a couple good pieces like Brian Burns. They do, but they were still one of the bad teams in the NFL, and he went 6-6 with them.
And they were
that says a lot about what kind of a coach he is.
Yeah, they were like 0-6 before that, right? They were like 1-5 or 0-6.
They were 1-4. They were 1-4 when he took over.
Right. Weren't they contending for a playoff spot at the end? They needed.
Yeah, they were one game out of beating the Buccaneers for the division, I think.
No.
Yeah.
Something could be said about that. That was just a really sorry division. What did the Bucks got in at what, 8-9 record? They got into the playoffs with an 8-9 record. So just because of their division wins and by default, they got a participation trophy to get into the playoffs. So, I mean, you could argue that too, man. But they were one game away from the playoffs. What's up, 559er? Thanks for tapping in. Got Corey Davis in here as well, man. What's up, Unc? Hope you're doing good tonight. Appreciate you.
Hey, I got a question real quick. Go ahead and read. Okay, this real quick. So do you think that the 7 best teams in each conference should go to the playoffs regardless of divisions? Or do you think we should still go with the format that we have where 4 divisions have a division winner that does make the playoffs? Or should it be more like the 4 best teams in the conference?
No, I do understand it when it comes to division breakups because that's how the NFL is structured. Then at that point, why do you have an NFC and an AFC, right? That's the way I see it. But I do think the best teams should go to the playoffs regardless of division. So that's my thoughts on it. I don't know. I don't have too much that goes into it right now. That's just my initial thought.
Yeah.
What about you, David? David.
Oh, I'm going back and forth with a Bears fan right now. Sorry about
that. Tell him he's a mark. So Brian's asking, do you think the best divisional teams should be going to the playoffs, or do you think it should just be solely based off who the best teams are in the NFL? Which I am a believer in. It should be the best teams.
Let's take what the NBA is doing. I don't follow the NBA, but I looked at the standings the other day and I said, hold on a second. These guys used to have divisions. What happened? And it's the East and the West. That's it. There's no dividing it up beyond that. It's the East and the West. So why not have the NFC and the AFC? and then it would be the top 7 teams versus letting a team like the Bucks in. I honestly don't think the Bucks had any business being in the playoffs. Every year there's a losing team in the playoffs, and there's a better team that's going home. And if that's really what the NFL wants, they'll keep doing it how they do it. But right now, I'm looking at the NBA like it's a prime example of what the NFL needs to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like you can eliminate 2 games, right there. We don't have to play the Rams twice or the Cardinals or the Seahawks or vice versa. We could have like, okay, this
3
year we're going
times.
to,
3
yeah,
times.
we're going to Seattle this year. Next year, maybe Seattle's coming here. But look at how many other games that you could potentially play. We could be playing 8 other teams, or 4 other games. So I don't know. I'd
There's
be interested in it.
15. So right now the schedule calls out for 17 games, and there's 16 teams in everyone. So that's 15. So you would have to play 2 teams twice, but you could rotate who those 2 teams are every year. So
it sounds like
right?
we're all in agreement, right? That it should just be the 7 best teams in the conference.
Yes.
Not in the division, but in the conference.
Yeah.
Which is going to make for
100%.
way better ratings, way better TV, way better profits, all that type of stuff. Now it's going to make us sweat a little more when we get into the playoffs, but hey, man, it is what it is. Best teams are going to come out on top typically, unless you have a shit scenario that happens like in the NFC Championship, but that's for another discussion.
Yeah, and that was just a thought. It was just a question I had real quick, but
no, I've definitely thought that before. I've definitely contemplated that in my life. David Villa says he's a better defensive coordinator than a head coach. Allegedly, man. With experience, practice, repetition, all that kinds of stuff, man. Experience, once you get that under your belt, is going to make you a better head coach in some way. That's why I'm not so hasty on the fire Kyle Shanahan stuff too, man, because he learns from his mistakes. Takes him way too long to do so, but he learns from them. I don't want to have a scenario like Andy Reid where we go and we fire Kyle Shanahan and he learns from all his experience and he takes it to another team, makes them a dynasty with all that experience under his belt. Then we go and have to face him in the Super Bowl. I don't want to have that happen. I'd rather have him here take his bumps because he's still a very young coach, and I think a lot of people forget that. You guys got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I could totally see Kyle going somewhere, like maybe like Denver or, like maybe even Indianapolis, and then ending up with his boy Kirk Cousins, like at the end of his career, and then drafting a Patrick Mahomes and, winning the Super Bowl against the 49ers again, or like finally getting that chip. It could happen. But to say it could happen, we can't just hold on to Kyle forever. Kyle has to make upgrades, and he can't keep on, having the same injury. That's his excuse. We can't just fire him. We don't have anybody to replace him at this point. But we can't just keep him forever either. We either win the Super Bowl here soon with you, or like at that point, we'll get to that point when it comes to it. But I'm not re-signing him.
Bill Cowher,
not yet.
Bill Cowher, former Pittsburgh Steeler head coach, was with the team forever, got there, got beat. You know what I mean? In a game that honestly kind of looked rigged with the Cowboys. I'm not going to lie. That was the 90s, though.
The 96 Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think it was it 95? Was this the 95 season? 96 is when they played it?
We were 94, and then 95, yeah. Maybe 95, 96.
But yeah, I mean, the man never won a Super Bowl, but, he was in the playoffs every year, and he was with Pittsburgh forever, but he never won it. Then they finally decided, time to move on from you. We're going to promote Mike Tomlin, and he has 2 rings and still doesn't have a losing season. Even with, the Steelers weren't that good last year. He still don't have a losing season.
But didn't Coward win a ring at the end?
No.
He didn't win
he
before.
Does not. He has 0 rings. Poor guy. He has 0 rings. But yeah, Mike Tomlin's the guy with that's brought Pittsburgh back to being relevant or dead. You know.
Okay.
But right now we have Kyle and we have John. You know, John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, and it's like it's almost like does Shanahan learn from his mistakes? You know, I mean, we've seen him like with Brock Purdy and the offense scoring all these points, and we've seen occasional flash of some play. It's like where did that come from? And but it's almost like he doesn't. He refuses to dig into his playbook, like he's saving his half his playbook for something.
I'm not so
it's like
opposed to that.
Why, bro? Even if they get film on everything, all the formations, all the motion you do so much repetitive stuff that goes from different play to different play that looks like the same play that no team is going to be able to figure out what you're doing, even if you open up your book, man. So I would like to see, all this stuff, all the glimpses I see every now and again of genius. I want to see this stuff, and he does scheme a lot of guys open, though. I'll give him credit. There always seems to be someone open. If the QB don't see it or not, there's always someone open.
Like the play where Purdy got hurt, man. I don't know. I'm not so opposed to it, man. I like him staying keeping things in the bag, keeping the cookies in the cookie jar until you need that cookie, man. If you don't need it, I don't see any reason to not bring it out. If you guys have any rebuttals on that, go ahead. But
well, I agree, and I think the best play scenario for like maybe there's others, but the quickest one I could think of is last year in Dallas in the playoff game. Why do you send Trent Williams in motion when it's a quarterback sneak? Jimmy could have just got the quarterback sneak, boom, and then we had the ball, and Dallas would have got the ball, and then there would have been Dak Prescott running at the end of the game and trying to. That wouldn't have happened. And it's the same thing kind of like this year, but this was more of a with this Cowboy game. Elijah Mitchell should have stayed in bounds.
That's a perfect example. That's a perfect example.
Player malfunction on that one.
I don't want to hammer David into the ground, but that's a perfect example of Kyle Shanahan getting too cute by getting in his bag, man. So let's save that unless we need it, because then we'll see things. We'll see things like
when
that.
It comes to Mitchell, I mean, we're typically a smart football team, and he should have known. Don't go out of bounds, dude. Fall down in bounds. Let him touch it. He should have known that.
That was really tough. I mean, he got the first down, man, and his momentum was really carrying him out of bounds. Because the thing is, first of all, how many running backs can get around the edges for us now? It's been like a real challenge. It seems like you need a guy like a Ray McLeod or something like that.
We got Mitchell and CMC could. He really could.
But the thing is, what I'm talking about is. To say, I mean, for these guys to get there is one thing. Then that momentum is carrying them out of bounds because it takes all that momentum to get out there, and it's really hard to slow that down. So I didn't fault him too much for that, in my eyes.
I don't know. I thought he had a pretty good shot at staying in bounds, and he kind of wanted to go out of bounds. I think that was kind of a mental error on him. But that's hindsight, but the whole Trent Williams play that was one of those plays where Kyle's just getting too cute. But like what David's saying, like where he handed the ball off to Ray and Ray get the what was it? It was not. Was it an end around? And he ran it all the way down the side of the line for
71 yards.
Yeah, that's the cute plays we want to see. During the season and stuff like that. Yeah. Sprinkle them here and there. But no, like when it's the Super Bowl and you're winning the Super Bowl against the Chiefs and you stop running the ball, because why? You don't want somebody to be the MVP of the. Debo was doing great. I don't understand. Like Mostert was doing great, and then you go to start passing the ball. I know they started stacking the box, but we were still. That's the team that we want to be. We want to be that team that goes up against the stacked box and outperforms. So I don't know.
Yeah, it don't matter how you win. Winning
Hey,
is gonna
man.
is what's gonna give you those
You know,
accolades.
Juice is a good fullback.
Oh yeah, the
You
best.
go double tight end set and bring Jason. Make Jason Poe, just give him a tight end number. Screw it. You know what I mean? That way he can play fullback, running back, tight end, whatever we need him to. But bring him in as the 6 offensive linemen. Let them stack the box, and we'll just smash them in the mouth.
Yeah,
Yep.
That's honestly what I'd like to see.
Yeah. That's what the team wants too. Damian Lee says,
and
yes.
that's I think
Go ahead.
I think that's the problem. Really quickly, I think that's the problem. The team wants to smash mouth football, and I think Kyle wants to be like quick scores, and score big. And the Niners are like, no, we can still get those 30 points by running the ball. You want to throw the ball and go air deep, and that's not who we are. I think that's the difference in the locker room right now, the internal struggle.
Yeah, man, you could definitely see the difference in opinion. So I don't know. Kyle Shanahan needs to get out of the way. His own players are telling him that. And so I don't know. I think that speaks volumes. It's very interesting, man. But smash mouth football is what, typically what these games call for, especially when you're talking about like in the Super Bowl to close out the game. Smash mouth football before you let it get out of hand. Time of possession, giving Debo the ball. Like Debo was doing really good even in 2019. So I thought he should have gotten the ball more, even as a rookie. Now we all know how Kyle Shanahan feels about that, but it is what it is, man.
Yeah.
He learns too late. So hopefully,
I got to do this. Shout out to Noah, the Seahawks.
yeah.
Seahawks guy.
He was talking about his little his picture on the screen, guys. That's a Seahawks fan right there that had to pie himself because he lost a bet. Damian Lee says, yes, reward the best, open competition, and only the best make the playoffs. We agree. The panel agrees. Jaguayo says, what's up, Jaguayo says, what's up, gentlemen? How are you doing? We must have to win our division and win 4 or 5 out of division. We'll be fine. Yeah, I think so, man. Like I'm saying, Kyle Shanahan needs to learn from his mistakes sooner than later. That way we don't have like next year, is it going to be another just losing the big game in another form or fashion, man, because this is just getting old. Like he just finds new ways to lose games, I think. And so it's getting really old. But Corey Davis says, Niner Gang Wolfcast, if you was the GM of the 49ers, what would you do?
That was our question last night on his show.
Depends what you're pertaining to.
So, like the format of his question last night was, and you can do it quick. If you're the GM of the Niners right now, what would you do with Kyle Shanahan? What would you do with the draft really quickly and the free agency? What would you do with the 2 quarterbacks or the quarterback situation?
Oh, we're gonna get into that in a bit. That's definitely, we only got maybe like 12 minutes, guys. So yeah, I guess we'll get into that, man. There's a few topics we're not going to have a chance to go into, but one of them is that free agency starts on March 15th. So I guess we'll save that for maybe the next coming days or something, guys. But if I'm the GM of the 49ers, like I said, I'm not so hasty when it comes to putting I would definitely put Kyle Shanahan on the hot seat, but not putting him up for trade or anything like that. He finds different ways to lose these games, guys, but he learns from his mistakes. So I think it's just going to come with experience, and I would rather him do that here than somewhere else. So I would keep him as of right now. Let's see how he does this coming year. If he completely flops, then I start putting it in question, man. But I don't think that's the way it's going to go. The 49ers seem to continuously be trending upwards, and continuously with the staff that we have in place, able to replace guys through the draft and free agency. So I feel really good about the 49ers, Kyle Shanahan, all that stuff moving forward. I don't change too much about what we got going on, man. Now, the quarterback position, I guess we could talk about that since we only got a few minutes, man. In my eyes, I'm going to keep it short and sweet. You don't risk Brock Purdy, right? The surgery implications we have seem like they're leaning towards 6 months. That's going to be the window. 6 months, he could be back. Now, that would put us at, if we're talking about day to day, that would be August 7th. Maybe, well, August 8th, I guess you could say. Now, why they haven't had the surgery already? Why are they waiting? Why wouldn't you have it sooner rather than later? I don't understand that. But
Swelling.
I'm not a doctor.
They can't do the surgery right now until his swelling goes down. And then he's getting second opinions. That's why nothing's been scheduled yet.
Yeah, it's weird to me, man. I can't comment on it too much. I would have had the surgery already, but like you said, man, I don't know about what they have to wait for on the swelling and all that type of stuff. But 6 months, if we were to take the surgery today or tomorrow, he wouldn't be back till like August 8th, which is basically preseason. So with me, you don't risk Brock Purdy for shit. Trey Lance starts the season no matter what. I don't care who you bring in, how soon you bring him. Trey Lance is our starter. This dude needs to get his chance. First and foremost, you don't lose your job to injury. It was Trey Lance's starting job to begin with. Now, he got injured. I put that on Kyle Shanahan because he used him in a really stupid way, I think. But Brock Purdy, we can't risk him to another injury so soon. We need to give him as much time until he's 200%. Then we can start talking about a quarterback competition, in my opinion. You guys have any thoughts on that?
The only thing I would say is yeah, I think Trey Lance should be the starter moving forward, but I think we need somebody that can push him to compete. So even if Brock Purdy's not healthy or we're going to put him on the back burner, we need 2 to 3 quarterbacks behind Trey right now that can be either the starter or push Trey to be the best he could be. I don't want him just going in open hands and saying, I'm the starter. No, you got to win. You need to win, dude. You need to win the position. You need to show you're the best player on the field. But I believe he is. So,
and with that, Kyle Shanahan needs to open that damn playbook up for Trey, not as a quarterback, a running quarterback, but as a true quarterback. Give him a chance.
And that's something I really want to see. I want to see Kyle Shanahan let him be a QB. Don't call so many RPOs because you're sitting there going, well, you know he's comfortable with it. No, bro. He's got to be a QB first and use his legs to extend plays and be a thorn in the defensive back side. You know that's half the reason we got him. Is because of how guys like Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson would constantly burn us by, escaping the pocket and extending the play. And having a quarterback that can do that. Brock Purdy can do that too. We saw him do that. And, if Brock Purdy comes back fast enough, I say open competition, let him fight it out. But the whole what if situation, which is something we're going to have to keep an eye on, is what if it takes Brock a little bit longer to come back? Then Trey Lance is going to have time in OTAs and training camp to start proving himself, though. And that might be a good thing.
Yeah. What I don't like is hearing about the reports that Trey Lance is saying he's not going to work on his throwing motion when he clearly has limitations and issues with throwing, short passes. And his quick release is not so quick. So I have an issue with that, man. We had that. I have an issue with Kaepernick not wanting to work on that as well, man. So this is not the first quarterback I have an issue with having the lack of motivation to work on his throwing technique, man. Maybe the lack of humility too. Now, I haven't heard it from the horse's mouth. I've heard it from reports. Trey Lance is known to be a hardworking, smart kid, but hey, man, you better work on that throwing motion because if you could do anything to get better that's going to move you in that direction to be successful in a franchise quarterback, you got to do it, not just for the 49ers, but for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's He can definitely throw the ball. He can throw that ball so much farther than I can throw that ball. But
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident in my 10-yard pass, and I'm pretty accurate within 10 yards. And hey, if the Niners would have needed me in the playoffs, I would have been ready to go. I'm just saying, I'm like 5'7". They might not have been able to see me. The defense might not, and that might have been what we needed. But that's a hindsight, here nor there. So, but with Trey Lance, if he can get those short, immediate passes, and I know people say, "Oh, that's blown up out of proportion." That's the money shots. And Kyle Juice is only so tall. He doesn't need to be jumping up like he's a basketball player trying to catch a ball going out of bounds. He needs those dump off passes, and that's just one example. He's done it for a couple, and that's the transition of our offense too. Right now, we are this offense that does these dink and dunks. He's this guy that he can do these explosion plays, and we're transitioning to that. So with a lot of the mentality of the team, like Brandon Ayuk, he quit on that play, and you seen Brock Purdy yelling at him to finish. That's because he hasn't had a quarterback to push him. So as Trey Lance develops, matures, we have more of that with the team. That's one thing that I think that Jimmy had with the team is he matured with the team. We had those losing, games, and then he comes in, starts winning. Everybody starts feeling good about themselves, and he gets hurt, and then they didn't win, and then he comes back in and he takes them to the Super Bowl. So he like matured with the team. So now it's Lance's turn. He needs to come in OTAs. He's got a good chance because he won't be competing against anybody unless they bring in a serious vet. And we all know they're not going to bring in a serious vet because they can't afford it. The Niners are going to go as cheap as possible. We're in draft. We're in draft 2 quarterbacks this year. I guarantee it. We'll probably draft Mr. Relevant again if they can.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
the thing with Jimmy Garoppolo was he was an understudy of Tom Brady, so I think just seeing how Tom Brady goes through his motions really helped out for his maturity and a leader at the quarterback position. So
it
uh,
totally showed the team that he was polished, and that's what the team needed.
yeah, exactly. David, any thoughts?
Well, I mean, we drafted a very raw, high ceiling QB,
Yeah,
that needs playing time. And at this point, he's going into season 3, and he hasn't had that playing time. You know, we still had Jimmy G, and Kyle's like, "Oh, we're going with Jimmy G," and we all know Jimmy G ain't it. Okay,
oh wow.
I mean, if his playoff numbers were better, and he actually played well in the playoffs, then yeah, I would say Jimmy G's pretty good, but I can't say that. You know,
Yeah,
I really can't. The
he's pretty good
playoffs
he's
don't
pretty
lie.
good in the regular season sometimes.
Yeah, but the
But
playoffs don't lie, though. I
yeah,
mean, his numbers is 4 TDs and 6 INTs, 160 yards a game, and I believe he had a 74 quarterback rating, 74.1. I'll give him a little more credit, but when it comes to Brock Purdy, his first playoff game, he passed for 300 yards.
yeah,
You know, then we go up against Dallas. He didn't have any TDs. No, he didn't have any. He didn't have any INTs. But he threw for 214 yards and was efficient against a defense that was on fire. The Dallas defense that they showed up to play that game.
yeah.
And then we go into the third game, and he gets hurt on the second drive, and it was just we have no idea if the kid could have won the Super Bowl or not now, you know.
I have a
That's all
pretty good idea.
speculation.
That's why I'm so pissed off is because I have a really good idea of where this team could have been right now in preparation for a certain game.
Yes.
Hey, Wolf, I got a message. CG, he has a comment for you or a question in the chat. You
Yeah,
have to skim
yeah.
through it.
I'm gonna get through the comments right now, guys. And we got to get these guys out quick. So after I go through some of these comments, we're not gonna take any more comments, guys. We got to get out of here and get everybody tucked into bed because most everybody has to work tomorrow. So bear with us, guys.
All right, let's see.
Jaguayo says, what do we need more? An edge rusher opposite Bosa or a great right tackle? I would say a great right tackle. And in my eyes, it's not really a question. Like, we brought in a really good defensive coordinator. We really need help at that right tackle position, where it's taken away from some of our offense when you got to have guys like Croft, Kittle, Juszczyk. You got to put those guys in to help block the right side when you could just have a really good right tackle over there. Now, with the defense, like I said, good defensive coordinator coming in. Our D line is pretty good. I think we're going to bring in some guys to maybe even ramp it up even more. I know it's going to be tricky with the salary cap and all that and the free agency, but I think this D line is actually going to get better this season. But I think right tackle is more important when it comes to protecting our quarterbacks this year. We all saw how that played out. Go ahead if you guys have any thoughts.
No, just jam through the comments. I'll pipe up when you know something really is enticing.
Okay. Enticing, you said?
Yeah. I can't hold back, Yeah,
I feel you. Okay. CG says, do we bring Arden Key back to the 49ers? He is a free agent. That's one of the guys I don't think he's going to outprice himself, man. So, yeah, if you can do it, that'd be cool. But the 49ers are really limited at when it comes to the salary cap. We got to sign Bosa and stuff like that. We can extend, we can wait for the 5th-year option on Brandon Ayuk. So that's good. The 49ers might do it. Brandon Ayuk might just bet on himself like Nick Bosa did, buy the 49ers a little bit of time when it comes to that salary cap. But the 49ers might go and try and get like a game changer, like a Daron Payne or something like that. So if we can let go of some of the guys that are just rotational pieces to bring in a game changer and save some of that cap space for that, then I would go that route because we can get place fillers at any point in time. But Arden Key's good, man. He's really cool, but we need game changers on the D line that are going to help Bosa and Armstead out, take some of that load off.
Yep.
If Trey does well in the offseason when Purdy returns, do we go with Trey or stick with Purdy? So I don't think you could base anything off of the offseason, man. I think we saw the way Kyle Shanahan attacked the first regular season and the second regular season game of this past year, in relation to what happened in the offseason with training camp. Apparently, Kyle Shanahan didn't realize that he had the number one defense that Trey Lance was competing against in every practice. And when you talk to the journalists and all the 49ers reporters that were there at training camp, they said there were days when Trey Lance was having like amazing days in camp. And then there's some other days where, he would make you scratch your head a little bit, man. And that, it's practice. That's what that's for. And the defense is going to make adjustments as well, and it was the number one defense. So I think Kyle Shanahan jumped the gun on that. You can't go off anything based off the offseason. You can't put too many chips in on that. So I think Kyle Shanahan, that's all I'm saying. Open up the playbook. If Trey Lance fails, then at least we got to see what his ceiling was. Okay? And you should have Brock Purdy waiting in the wings at some point. Should be ready around August. Like I said, wait till he's 200%. Great questions, though, CG. Appreciate it. Bebop Jones, what's up, man? Good to have you in here. CG says, is the NFL overrating Mike McGlinchey? He isn't even good pass blocking. Yeah.
PFF actually scores them high, but I don't know how PFF comes up with these scores, because you look at some of the players and it's like, are you seeing the same thing I am? It's like, how are you rating this guy high? And I don't think he's actually doing that good. So, well, when it comes to McGlinchey, his what was it? I was looking at his market value, $15 million a season. I don't think he's actually going to hit that. I think he's going to hit the 10 to 12 marker, and I don't think we can actually afford that because we have to extend Bosa and do other things. So,
Yeah, no, exactly, man. The numbers don't tell the whole story, and you can go through stats all day. It helps when it fits your narrative, but when it doesn't, it's because they don't tell the whole story. And that's a situation like we have here with PFF and Mike McGlinchey, man. He's not the greatest pass blocker by a far stretch, but I think the overall market for right tackle is not great. So I think that's why Mike McGlinchey still has a chance at a pretty good bag this year, man. So like even the guys you could bring in to replace McGlinchey are not going to be that much better. It's a really tough, like you're going to give and take things, right? He's going to be better at run blocking than some of the offensive linemen we might bring in for better pass blocking. It's kind of the where do you want to tip the scales to favor, I think.
And at this point, we're really familiar with him. That's why there's a good chance he'll take a team discount and come back. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, and I'd like to see him go somewhere else too. But he actually might come back to the Niners at the right price.
And well, as long as whoever's starting at right tackle don't sleep on the snap, wait 3 seconds to get out of his stance, and then block a mosquito, then I'm okay.
Block a mosquito.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you, David. Like, I've seen him too, and it's like the only thing I can really tell you is Mike McGlinchey knows the plays. He's familiar with the team, and they want to run it back with as many the veterans that's been there on this team for the last couple of years. That's the only thing I got going. I think he's got going for him to be able to come back to this team. He can run block. That's about it. He knows
the playbook.
Yeah, he knows the playbook, and he knows how to get there. So he knows how to get to the locker.
Yeah, I think Jordan Willis is one of the guys they need to bring back. That's one of the 21 free agents, unrestricted free agents. 21 unrestricted free agents, guys. That's a lot of players.
So is it 21 but 25 altogether?
I believe so.
Okay.
Jaguayo says, Wolfgang, do you know Isaac Barrera? I don't know. Maybe. You got to refresh my memory a little bit. I don't know.
I have no idea who that is.
You got to kind of mention who that is. Maybe I might know him. 559er says, Mike Shanny had Elway and Kyle Shanny can't groom a quarterback. And in many ways, you could say Mike Shanahan wasn't very good at that as well. He wanted it all to be about himself as well, which is some of the mentality that that Kyle Shanahan seems to have adopted. Mike Shanahan, he used to take the ball out of Elway's hands all the time, and they just wanted to run the ball and play good defense. He wanted it all to be about him, and that's kind of what Kyle Shanahan does.
Yeah, and he didn't groom Elway. Elway was already a Super Bowl quarterback. He didn't win a Super Bowl, but he was already there. He didn't even play against the Niners in the '89 Bronco blowout.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, like, he wasn't a scrub to begin with. He just might have been refined at the end. And I think that's what they did. You nailed it. He ran the ball, and then Elway was a good enough passer to, strike when he needed to strike. Yep.
All right, guys. I think that's pretty much all for the comments. Really appreciate everybody that chimed in. The Not So Super Bowl is this week. Do you guys have any predictions for that game? Brian, we'll start with you. Work our way to the left.
My prediction is I'm going to have a fantastic barbecue, and everybody that's going to be coming over will be leaving a little bit tipsy and merrier than they came. And we'll have a lot of fun watching the Not So Super Bowl, but the party will be fun. So that's my prediction.
Get wasted beyond your mind, huh? Forget about everything.
Not where you can't remember nothing, but at least we're having fun. We'll make the Super Bowl a little bit more super. So
yeah. Oh yeah, that's what's up. Oh, do you have any predictions actually?
Special teams will win the game. There's going to be a special teams return by the Chiefs, and I think the Chiefs will also win the game at the end with a field goal. That's my prediction.
Chiefs will win by a field goal?
Yep.
Okay. I like it. David?
So My prediction is the commercials are gonna suck because they ain't like they used to be in the 80s and
What
90s.
the?
Because people are afraid. I'm talking about the thing that matters. Because people are afraid of offending one person.
Yeah.
So the commercials have gone downhill. And if you don't believe me, look up old videos and watch them. You will see what I'm talking about. Those were some funny commercials back in the day.
Yeah, everybody
Yeah.
But
stop being so damn sensitive, man. Get your head out your ass.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then that the halftime show, Rihanna. I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
I'll probably tune in and watch that. But when it comes to the game, I got the Chiefs winning by 2 scores.
I like it,
I
man. I
think
like that even more.
Mahomes got something to prove, and the Eagles are what's in front of them.
If Brian's
Yep.
prediction was a piece of paper, I'd crumble it up and throw it in the garbage right now.
No,
Kobe
you'd fold it. You'd fold it up like a little, like Japanese
origami.
football. Yeah, and then you kick it into
Flick it.
the can. Yeah.
Oh man, I like David's prediction even more just because it favors what I want to see, man. I think I could definitely see this going either way, where the Eagles might just be the more physical team, run the ball and play good defense. Kind of similar to what the 49ers did in 2019. Now, it really surprised me how much they trusted Jimmy Garoppolo after that playoff run with the ball versus KC in 2019. But with the Eagles, man, if they play good ball control, they might be able to get out with it. The 49ers almost did that in 2019, like I said, but I think KC just has too much firepower, man. And if Jalen Hurts is passing the ball anything like he was against the 49ers, then I don't think the Eagles have a shot, man. So I think the Chiefs are just going to get too far out ahead, and it's going to cause the Eagles to make mistakes. And so I'd put my money on the Chiefs, man. Hopefully by 2 scores, like David said, but we'll see, man. Anyways,
Yep.
I really appreciate you guys coming on today. You guys didn't have to. It was late notice, got off work late and everything like that. So thank you to my co-hosts. Thank you for everybody that tuned in today. Let me see. Macchiano has one last comment. Hate to say this, but Hurts is going to hit them where it hurts. I say Eagles. Okay.
Hey, I'm not gonna be mad either way.
I am. I really want to stick it to the Eagles after all the way their fans have talked so much shit after like they did something. Like I haven't done this even when we've whooped teams like the Seahawks and stuff like that. Like I don't go and talk shit and bash their fans. Like why I don't have any feel in my heart to go and kick somebody when they're down. That shit is really weird to me. I know I've said it here before, guys, but like I don't get it. And they just felt a need to do that, and I just really want to see them rock. So I can't wait for the Chiefs to whoop that ass and outclass them, man. And that's saying something because I really can't stand the Chiefs. Lauren Lee says, if Japan had a football league, what would they use for a football?
Oh God.
That sounds like it would be a joke. Sounds like it's probably a joke. Hey, Information Man Show. Likewise, man. Appreciate you tuning in. Yeah, guys, we're getting out of here. I'm going to let my co-hosts go. They've donated a lot of their time to us tonight. If you guys have any closing thoughts, go ahead. Of course, let's go from left to right again, and then we'll close out the show.
My closing thoughts: Go Niners. Stay faithful. Trust the process. If you have feelings and you want to get them out, get them out. It's okay to vent it. It's okay to get emotional. At the end of the day, we don't pay the bills. We pay a portion if you're a season ticket holder, or you buy jerseys or cups and stuff. And as a fan, you do have an opinion. And if you want your opinion heard, it is best to say it. And quality control is working. You just have to, you have to do your part. So I feel like this is exactly that. This is quality control because they hear us. So everybody stay faithful, go Niners, and remember the name on the front, not on the back. So get you a personalized jersey so you don't get cut or traded.
Yeah, there you go, David.
Well, first things first, Macchiano. I can't stand either team, so it's kind of the lesser of two evils, buddy.
Exactly. Exactly.
And we do, like Brian said, we got to trust the process. We have a process we do every off season. And typically it's get a whole bunch of guys for 1 year that we know our coaching staff can make better than what they were at their last team. And this season, the salary cap goes up. Bosa will get extended. He'll be big money. And next season, hopefully the salary cap really goes up because we're going to need it.
Yeah.
And, this draft, it's time to get some pieces for the future. Like sign a 1-year center, draft center to groom. They'll probably draft an edge or two because, we only have 2 under contract. But we'll see what happens. Like Brian said, trust the process. That's right. Go
Yeah,
Niners and fuck the Eagles and the Chiefs.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I think maybe next time we do a show, I'll freelance a little more because I think maybe that would have been better. But I'll definitely have the topics ready just in case, man. But great show today, guys. Everybody who tuned in, great show to you as well. Thanks for chiming in. Like Macchiano says, please hit the like button, everybody, on your way out. Like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Move us in the right direction. Good night, everybody. Really appreciate you. And go Niners.
Go
Go
Niners.
Niners.